I'm Rick Bishop, the chairman of the Government Affairs Committee here at the Chamber, and we would like to welcome everyone to a Government Affairs and Chamber event, the State of the City Address. A little different time for us. Usually at noontime, people are anxious to come over at lunch, so now we're interrupting with happy hour, so it's a different approach. It's with great pleasure that we have an opportunity to introduce Mayor Doherty to address the city officials and the Chamber about the state of the city. As you know, the mayor is in his third term, and the accomplishments are very visible to those who, as they say, drive around town. And I'll just highlight a few in introducing the mayor. One is take a look at the downtown and the development that has taken place here. Take a look at the parks throughout our city and how they have been revived and encouraged. Take a look at jobs downtown and throughout the rest of the city. Take a look at the construction of the new medical school not too very far from here and the jobs and economic development that it is generating. Take a look at Lackawanna Avenue and the 500 block and both ends of Lackawanna Avenue and all the developments that have taken place during the last several years under the mayor's regimes. Take a look at the recovery plan as we have made great strides, including court victories that help us hopefully in the soon emerge from the recovery situation that we've been in. Take a look at the statistics concerning crime reduction and the great accomplishments that we have done so that our areas of high crime are so much less than the sister communities that we are surrounded by. Take a look at the progress that has been made in terms of retaining younger people. One of the real goals when the mayor took over, as we were mainly known for exporting our young with the schools and the colleges and the activities that are generated, including the growth of the University of Scranton, Lackawanna College, and of course the medical school. Look at business development. Mayor has been a great friend of the Chamber of Commerce and a great friend of the people as is revived Scranton. And he is known statewide and countrywide for his many accomplishments in the various leagues of cities. So please join me in welcoming our mayor, Mayor Chris Doherty.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to my 9th State of the City. Before I start, I think I would be remiss not to take notice of the loss of Larry Johnson, Lance Corporal Larry Johnson, who was from South Scranton, was killed earlier this week, last week in Afghanistan. And it's somewhat ironic that we stand here across the street from the Gino Murley Center, a man who had been honored for the Congressional Medal of Honor winner in World War II. And I think about the two young men. Gino Murley was a private, and he was in Belgium. He was a machine gunner, and he held back a German force overnight from 8 at night until early in the morning. And had even faked being dead, had been poked by a bayonet at 4 different occasions as he had the body of his gunner mate next to him. Larry Johnson graduated from Scranton High 2 years ago. In fact, he was in my daughter's class. And I had the opportunity to visit with his mother on Sunday morning. And you see the face of war, you see the face of sacrifice. But what you also see is what makes us a great community. You see the values, the morals, and the ethics that are instilled in our young men and women. Gino Murley ended up being world-renowned. He was highlighted in Tom Brokaw's book, The Greatest Generation. Larry Johnson was just a young man from Scranton. In fact, both were from Scranton, born and raised. But they both had the same morals and ethics and a willingness of sacrifice, a willingness to do what's right and to sacrifice for others, to make our lives better. And they're willing to do that on our behalf. And so I salute Larry Johnson and his family for what they have done for us, because they represent the best of who we are. And it is a sad moment for their family, but it's for us as a community. We get to look and see that what fine young men and women we deliver out of northeastern Pennsylvania, and they represent the greatest of what we have. 9 years ago, when I was sworn in, it wasn't too different than a day like today, although we did have 15 inches of snow on the ground and 2 snowplows that worked and 26 square miles of roads that I had to plow. Well, nearly 9 years later, how are we doing? Well, Business Week magazine named Scranton the #1 place in Pennsylvania to raise a family. And Money magazine ranks us in the top 10 real estate markets in the country. We did these things because we believe that government plays a role in people's lives. We believe that it was important to invest in ourselves, that we were worth the investment. You know, today I was having lunch at the Hilton Hotel, and in line at the buffet were young men and women from Santa Fe Pasteur who were down here for training for the week. 8 years ago, there was no Hilton Hotel. There was no Santa Fe Pasteur, no more than a block down the street or around the corner from all the other developments that we've seen. We have made tremendous progress in our community, and we've talked about it over the years. But over the last year and a half, we've seen it in the 500 block of Lackawanna Avenue and re-changing that whole look of the streetscape. We also saw at the end of Lackawanna Avenue, on the Lackawanna Avenue Bridge, investing in infrastructure, allowing commerce to take place, but also beautifying our city by investing in our architecture. We see it in investing in our neighborhoods, whether it's the plot section, or it's Weston Field, or it's the Greenwich section in our $80 million flood project that will be done this year, that will allow the families of those neighborhoods no longer to worry. We worked arm in arm with the federal government and the state government to make sure that that happens. And we've also invested in our public safety. You know, Richard had mentioned to us, we as a city, and we're an urban area, we're always challenged. Well, earlier this year, we decided to invest $1 million in 3 new fire engines, which allows our city to provide the best fire protection. But we've also been committed to public safety. We've almost gone 12 months now without a homicide. And yet we look at urban areas that surround us that are challenged tremendously. But does that mean we're satisfied? No. It only means we have to work harder because we've raised the bar a lot higher. But when we invest in ourselves, we invest in our public safety, we invest in job growth, we invest in businesses, we also invested in our park system. Last year saw us complete the first new park in the city in decades, the Mayor Jimmy Connors Park in Southside. It also saw us invest in other projects throughout the city. But this year it also sees us, we will invest in the new greenhouse at Nayock Park, which we will name after Mayor McNulty. It'll be at the front of the Davis Trail. It'll also be right next door to the memorial that we have to our 6 soldiers who were killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. And unfortunately, we'll be adding a 7th memorial later this year. We take tremendous pride on who we are because we believe in ourselves and we believed that we were worth the investment. During these last 8 years, we have fought the good fight. We have fought the fight that allows us to move ourselves forward. The idea that within 6 blocks from here, you would see nearly $200 million of construction, whether it's the $90 million Science Center at the University of Scranton, whether it's the medical school, or whether it's at the Scranton Housing Project with Washington Plaza, which is a $5 million project. The area has seen tremendous investment. We as a city are seeing tremendous investment. The reason why we are recognized by Business Week and Money Magazine because we're doing the right things. And we never looked for the home run. We built a solid foundation of success, a willingness to invest in our parks, to invest in our infrastructure, whether it's the flood projects, to invest in our bridges, and also a commitment to public safety, whether you see it in new fire trucks or police vehicles or software packages to allow us to stay ahead of the curve. It is no fluke that we are regarded as the best. We've done it through hard work and a belief that we are worth the investment, that we are worth the sacrifice, that we are the best. The people of Northeastern Pennsylvania has always set a standard, and we shot for it. I remember 8 years ago when I took office, the first person to come to see me was Austin Berg, and he said, I want to invest in Lackawanna Avenue. People forget the incubator project because there have been so many other projects. Yet at that time, It was a blighted street where we didn't see much investment. And for Austin to take, which basically amounted to $6 million, and said, I'm going to invest it in downtown Scranton. Trust me, we didn't have anything at the time. The movie theaters had closed. Where Santa Fe Pasteur is today, it was Woolworth's. Where we see Merrill Lynch, it was Kresge's department store. They were all empty. Where the Casey parking garage is and the new Mexican restaurant's going to open up, where Molly Brannigan's was, empty. The Hilton Hotel had stopped its construction. We were challenged. But it came about from sacrifice. The chamber looked upon the city as worth the investment, giving us another shot. You know, chamber dollars just don't come from the city of Scranton. They come from the region. But they felt it was worth the investment. Every investment we make spurs on another development. Everything we do spurs on something else. But we always have to remember, we are never finished. People sometimes think there's an end. There's a finite end. No, it's just a continuum. We have to keep pushing ourselves, because the higher we go, the greater things that people expect from us. The more investment and commitment we make to our city, the more time and effort that we put into our community, people expect that we're going to do more of it, that we're going to keep raising the bar, that we're going to keep accepting the challenges. And that's the challenge that we have before us today. We're building the first medical school in Pennsylvania in 50 years in our downtown. We're going to see tremendous economic growth surrounding that school. We are going to see young people in our downtown over the next 5 years. You don't have to go no more than one block to 317 Linden Street, where 100 apartments have already been built in anticipation. You don't have to go farther than Spruce Street, the old, which Pierre's clothing store. 21 apartments are going to be built above there. Around the corner. We have to continue to push ourselves and understand something. We are worth the investment. We are smart. We are good people. But the only way you stay successful is you push yourself and you drive yourself and you believe that you could do even more. Who would have thought 8 years ago when Austin Burke came to me and said, let's try an incubator building in the downtown. Let's help young people, small businesses, have an opportunity to become successful. Now we're talking about a medical college, the first in the state in 50 years. And the reason why it came about, 4 doctors who thought they had a dream, and their main concern was healthcare. From that, they were able to galvanize the support of Senator Mello, who made this project a reality. Go to the governor, to go to the Blue Cross Blue Shield, ask for their support. That's sacrifice. That's a willingness to do things for other people, not just for yourself. Those 4 doctors, their careers were close to the end. They weren't looking to reward themselves. They wanted to reward the community they were from. They wanted to leave a legacy that was better than what they had. They wanted to make our community better, and they did it through a dream and through passion. We are recognized as the best city in Pennsylvania by Business Week, not only because we've created construction and we've created jobs and we've invested in our parks. It's a recognition of enthusiasm. It's a recognition of passion. It's a recognition of belief that we have in ourselves, that we are the best, that we hold a standard higher than everybody else. That's why people look at us differently today. It isn't just statistics. It's what's in our heart. It's what's in our soul. It's what defines us. I often talk, and I've talked about this many years as I've given this address, about a sense of place. A sense of place is not a location. It is the fire that is in your belly. It is the dream that is between your ears. What do you see? What do you want? What are we capable of? What we've proven over the last years, we're capable of anything. All we have to do is believe we can do it, set aside the energy and the desire and the practice to make it happen, and it will happen. Those of us who are older and have seen successful people and have seen successful businesses run, we know how it separates those who make it and those who don't. Hard work, a belief that you can get it done, and a commitment to excellence. If you're driven by that, you will become successful. That is Scranton today. That's what makes us the best place to live. You know, I started talking today about a young man who died just last week and someone who set an example generations ago. Those people help define who we are. And we, as a community, help define them through their parents and through their families. We instilled in them, or the people of our community, whether it's our grandparents, our great-grandparents, those morals and ethics of sacrifice, of a belief that you must do for others, that you must be willing to separate yourself, not what I can get, but what can I give. When a community is defined by that simple principle, you become the best. You no longer care about first taking care of yourself. You care about your neighbor. You care about someone you never even met, but you realize by doing the tough things and doing sacrifice, you make a difference. Sacrifice is evident whether it's the Kiwanis Club or the Elks or the Lions. Sacrifice is also mentoring young business people, allowing them to become successful. Sacrifice is taking time and being part of public service. Many of the people here tonight work in our cabinet, and they work tirelessly because they believe in a passion to make our community better. I stand here tonight as a representative of them, of the work they've done for the 9 years, the work for most people don't see on the weekends and after hours, and the phone calls that I make to them asking them to do things. You can't put a dollar amount on that, but you can put a value on it, on how our community is looked upon and how we value ourselves. We live in a great city, in a great region, and we should all be very proud, but we should understand this. Whatever we've accomplished, tomorrow's another day, and is a greater challenge ahead of us. But we should know this when we wake up. We have the skills, we have the tools, we have the passion, we have the desire, and we have the ability to accomplish anything we want. Thank you.
I have one commercial announcement followed by another commercial announcement. Since you enjoyed this presentation, I would like to invite everyone here and everyone else who's listening to join Governor Ed Rendell for a discussion about the Pennsylvania budget and about what it means for Pennsylvania businesses. Come hear why and how the governor proposes to lower the sales tax from 6% to 4%, while at the same time keeping food, clothing, and prescription drugs exempt from the sales tax, just as they are today. Pennsylvania needs to start preparing today for the end of the federal stimulus funding, or we will face serious consequences in 2011 and beyond. So come hear Governor Rendell talk about what's at stake and why this budget is good for Pennsylvania's business community. His address will be on Saturday, March 6th, in the same location. And if you like the state of the city, very important also is the state of our county. And we would invite you to hear Commissioners Washoe and O'Brien speak at our traditional time of Tuesday, March 16th, noon, in the Chamber boardroom. Now I'd like to ask Bob Lynott to close.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to, on behalf of the board of Scranton Tomorrow and on behalf of the Chamber, I would like to thank the Chamber and the staff for co-sponsoring this event and this evening's announcements. I graciously thank Mayor Doherty for his continued efforts in making the city of Scranton a better place for our residents and our business community. Mayor, your leadership, commitment, and vision are a driving force for the economic vitality of this community. As a community partner, Scranton Tomorrow was recently designated the Downtown Scranton Main Street Managers Program through the PA Department of Community and Economic Development. This program now allows us to continue to build upon the assets of our community, strengthen community partners, and provide services that will complement the wonderful work of both the Chamber and the Mayor and his staff. We, Mr. Mayor, we, the people of Northeast Pennsylvania, we, the Chamber, and we of Scranton Tomorrow, look forward to the completion of the various projects that are under development, and we are prepared also to assist as longstanding community partners. Thank you, Mayor Doherty. Thank you, Chamber. And thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. Drive careful and have a good evening.